This episode of Void Signal contains graphic sexual content. Listener discretion is advised.
Hey, this is Gabby from Eva X, and you are listening to Void Signal with Brian McClelland.
This one looks creamy. Very creamy.
It's very creepy. It's very creepy. It's very
Did you get a good chat with him?
I wouldn't call it good, but it was done. I mean, it was good. It was good. We talked about how coffee makes you shit, and how, like, because he was like, so the way it goes is that, like, basically, I asked Ben Miller, the drummer, to come on the show because I was like, I want to talk to that guy. He like gives a shit about stuff, and he like takes thoughtful photos of things. Like, this is a person who cares about something, and you can see it if you just fucking look at it, right?
Yeah.
So I messaged him and was like, hey man, do you want to come on my humble, shitty ass little podcast? And he was like, sure, I'd love to. And I was like, cool. So it was fun, and he's like super into coffee. So like the health coffee is like, he like worked with like a bigger company. He like slow roasted, like, oh, the beans have to stay at this temperature with an infrared thermometer, and he sends all over there these things of like, it has to be sourced from this, and like, he's legit like that. He's like the coffee man. I've never met a coffee man, but he is.
I think Youth Code did a coffee too.
Did they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think they have their own coffee.
See, I think boutique stuff like that is cool because it's like, he's into coffee, so now he gets to make his coffee, and people who like health get to sort of join him on this thing. I think that's cool. But yeah, we talked about his coffee, we talked about how it makes you shit, and I felt like a buffoon, and then we were talking about like favorite trunk foods and shit, and doing karaoke, and it was a blast. It was a fun talk, fun chat.
Yeah.
But I fucking loved it. It was wonderful. Anyway,
pretty much every musician just talks about shit at some point. So
of course, I mean, because we're all fucking juveniles at heart, pretty much.
I know Brian was like in one of our chats. He's like, "Is that all you guys do? Is just talk about tits and shit?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's pretty much all we do."
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah.
All right. Can you just set this like kind of over there by you and?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess let's do that. He's making a ton of fucking noise.
I know. Josh is so fucking loud. So like here.
Yeah, just kind of, I mean, like, I don't want to, like, oh, we closed the door and now we're sitting much closer to each other, but I mean, like,
No, it's
I need the mic to fucking pick it up, so.
No, it's fine.
But, thanks for coming on my little podcast. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm excited, actually.
Really? Why?
I think because I heard your interview with Gabby, and it was just so natural and fun and free-flowing, and I thought, I gotta be on that.
Cool. That's awesome. I don't get to hear a lot of that kind of a side of it. So I never know what anybody's first episode is. I always just assume, like, I just, like, put them up and I sent them out there on their way and never really sprung for anything. So when you were like, hey, the podcast is cool, and you were like, oh, I'm ratio strained, but we can record as Waste if you want, because I also drum for Waste. I was like, yeah, I know Waste. I've been around. I've heard Waste.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't give a shit about that. That's old news. Like, I want to hear about this, like, this new thing. And throughout the festival, I've been doing my best to sort of try and catch a lot of the opening acts and stuff for that reason. Like, the first day, like, Nuda, she killed it. I had no idea. I'd never seen her before. Because I was like, okay, here's a chance for this, a first impression sort of a thing.
Yeah. We're actually playing with her this Thursday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, she was great. But I made sure to catch your set because I was like, this is what I want to see.
Yeah.
Because, after you had messaged me, I checked out, like, what you were doing, the music and the mask and everything, and I was like, this is something exciting. I want to, who gives a shit about Waste?
That's funny because I always put myself as, that drummer chick from Waste, because that's kind of how I'm known, and that's kind of a running joke with all my friends, is because I play drums for Waste, and there's been so many times I've gotten off the stage, gone in the ladies' room, or gone, walking around, and everyone goes, oh shit, you're that drummer chick from Waste. It's always, you're that drummer chick. So I just kind of played off of that, and that's, even if you look on my social media, it just says that drummer chick from Waste. Yeah, so I think that's kind of why I geared towards that, is it's funny, comical to me. Yeah.
No, it is for sure. And that was something that like struck me about your set here, was that I saw you drum for Waste and drum with Ardensphere, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been I've been doing a ton of drugs. I don't know what day it is. I'm just making sure, but yeah, and then you drummed with Manufacturer.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were busy this festival.
I was busy. Yeah.
But yeah, your set was what was interesting about it was that it was just you're not drumming and you're left to your own devices. And it was like, the set was very intimate. The set, like, the songs and what you sort of brought to them was something that was like, I don't know, it felt authentic. Like, a lot of the opening acts that I've seen for the festival all just seemed so, like...
Vulnerable?
Yeah, like, we're just, like, doing this shit. This is what I made. Do you want to hear it? And everybody's like, yeah, I want to fucking hear it. But the other thing that struck me was the mask. Mm-hmm. Like... It's so visually striking. Like, what led you to want to wear a mask?
So I think I've always kind of dealt with this thing of wanting to put myself out there, but also being a woman, I don't want to put my sexuality. I want the music to speak for itself, but you still have to put yourself out there.
Sure.
And I kind of wanted to take a little bit of that back and have my own kind of weird persona. And also, I'm so used to being behind the drums. Mm-hmm. So to be by myself on a stage, it's very vulnerable, honestly.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think I felt the mask kind of gave me a little sense of security. Plus, it's really cool.
Yeah.
So there's also that.
I mean, it's really cool.
Yeah, I wanted to just bring something other than, oh, here's this woman by herself on stage. You know, we've all seen that, and nothing against that, because I'm all, you know, I still have that womanly figure, but I just wanted to kind of take a little bit of that back and just be kind of ominous and just kind of, oh, who is this person and what is their intent? I wanted the music to speak more than me.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I really do think you accomplished that. As somebody who was a little familiar with the music, I listened to some of the songs, and I was like, after hearing a handful of them, I couldn't tell you names because I was in a hurry, like trying to like listen to as much stuff for the fest as I could. Mm-hmm. But I was like, all right, I'm gonna save the rest of this because I want to see what you brought to it as well. And I think the mask with like the the Morris Blackie kind of a thing, like I've got a mask and I've got like a video that you're gonna mostly pay attention to, but sometimes I'll make gestures like that's like, that seems like my kind of chill modality of like, I could do that maybe because it's like you have that, you're not as vulnerable. So that makes a lot of sense, but I did find it to be very effective because like the rest of your outfit like was distinctly feminine. Yeah. And so it was
I'm very intentional with a lot of the things that I do.
It showed. It comes across in the music and in the presentation. I mean, like, I honestly, I can't wait to, I mean, you're coming on the podcast, but like, I don't have to say this, right? But like, I can't wait to get home and rewatch it. Like, because I'm like, oh, what did I miss? Awesome. Because like, there was so much interesting stuff going on in the backing track. And like, I was like, I want to do that again. I want to experience that again. Because it was effective. Because it was like, who's this weird cyber demon that just got up here? Like,
I named myself a witch lord too. I was like, oh man, you know, got a witchy little vibe going on.
Exactly. It's like this like cyber witch kind of a fucking thing. It's rad. It's super cool. Man, I loved it. It was fucking dope.
Thank you. Yeah, it was exciting. It was really, it was very surreal to be up there by myself. And I know all the musicians before have the same kind of feeling of, oh my God, are they going to like this? You're very vulnerable on stage. You're working with other artists that are so freaking amazing. Mm-hmm. And it's intimidating. But then when you get there and you get on stage and you're at, this fest, you're just inspired to do. I'm nothing more than inspired to just...
I mean, maybe you're expired.
I'm expired. I am expired.
I fucking am.
That was the correct Freudian slip right
there. It was. I'm ready to go to the fuck home. Like, this has been amazing. This has been wonderful, but I'm exhausted. Shit.
My voice has gone out, and I have not been screaming or anything, and my voice is out, so...
I have been screaming, and, like, that's why I was like, well, I want to, I'm a podcaster at a festival. There's no, it's difficult to find a place to record. And then I've been, like, having fun and screaming and shit. So, like, my voice is all fucking fucked up. And smoking drugs fucks with your voice anyway. But anyway, here we are. It has, I am exhausted. But, yeah, you killed it out there, man. That was fucking great.
Thank you. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. And I put a new song in there and, again, was very intentional with the song selection and the flow of it. I really wanted to start off just kind of mellow, again, ominous, and then just really build into that very dirty song that makes people uncomfortable, so I've been told. But
I loved it, though. Like, what I thought was so effective about it and what was so great is that it is uncomfortable and that it is, like... And to nonetheless, to include a song that's that uncomfortable being presented to you from a woman.
Yeah.
It's a different thing for a man to get up and be raunchy. Yeah. But coming from a woman, it's unexpected, not only because it's a societal expectation at that point that you're violating. That's like, okay, well, who gives a shit about this? It's in your face and it's genuine, but not too serious.
Yeah, that's basically all the songs you're talking is just my personality in a nutshell. I think that's, if you look at all the music I've made, it's essentially my personality. So you get that serious side and then that really perverted 13-year-old boy side.
You are the most perverted 13-year-old boy I've ever met, if that counts for anything. And I was one, so that's saying something.
God, yeah. Yeah! Yeah!
Just keep it up. That's it. Yeah, you little fuck slut.
I would have liked to be fucked a little harder.
Really?
Yeah, fucked in the ass a little harder. Let me clarify that. Yeah. Be fucked a little harder. Oh, God damn! Oh, shit!
Oh, yes!
Yeah! 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 Fucked a little harder.
I want to smear it all over my face. I want you to see your cum all over my face. With your get your shit. You come in my mouth, sir. Please. I want to taste your shit.
Yes! Yes!
but then there's also that deeper tone. So Objectify was the last one, and that song is, I made it because there are so many songs objectifying women. But on the same token, women love sex too, and there's nothing wrong with it. So for me, it's just that duality of, I'm going to try to make a song that makes maybe men uncomfortable the way women have been made uncomfortable, but also, hey, we kind of like sex too, and we like dirty sex, so, deal with it.
I mean, fucking everybody does. Like, this is not a fucking thing that should be some kind of secret, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I that's a really good approach. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I like making people uncomfortable. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, want to do a podcast and then, talk about fucking whatever. But, it was good. I liked it. I like that idea of not only, I don't know, challenging the boundaries, challenging the status quo.
I think that just comes because, I don't sing. Mm-hmm. No one will ever get me to sing. I'm a horrible singer. I wanted to have something that had something in it that would maybe draw people in, and I think a little bit of me as well. And so when I say I'm intentional, I'm very intentional with the samples that I use and the theme of the songs. They all have a specific theme, and I am very psychological, I think, in cerebrals, because they're very, there's undertones of, society and stuff in there. So and I think that just comes from my back. I'm a behavior analyst in my day job, so I think I'm always kind of thinking about people and how much they suck or they don't suck.
Well, no, I think that allows you a unique perspective that you bring to your music, is because you do have that extra little bit of insight into people. So you can be like, I want to make people uncomfortable with this thing. And it's like, of all the people at this festival, man, who would be good at making people uncomfortable? Who would know? Oh, fucking you would know.
Yeah.
Like, so, I mean, you do kind of have that going for you, but I just want to see more women doing up there doing stuff that's like, that's edgy, that's fucking different, that's their thing, and not an imitation of some boys thing.
Yeah, I think that's the hard thing. Is I actually decided to start Ratio Strain at Mechanismus 2019 was when I really decided to do it. It was because I, again, playing with waste, everyone's getting interviewed, it's a boys club, and I'm often kind of the only woman. And I'm not always the only woman. There's a lot of women that sing, but I'm the only woman in noise and a drummer at that. I'm very often just kind of left to my own devices. And I remember I was just watching everyone and being inspired. And Shane for years has been telling me, hey, make music. And I kind of poo-pooed it. Like, no, I'm just a drummer. Leave me alone. I'm happy in the back. But I was just so inspired because I saw really good music and I just saw a lineup of men. And I saw myself just, again, by myself. And I thought, what if I actually tried to do this? What if I could do it as good or maybe even better? Let me give it a shot. And so I went home and started making really shitty tracks that were dirty.
I'm sure that's what my future holds. I've got the bug too now. I'm just like, oh my god, this is awesome.
Like, for example, Objectify was, I think, one of my first songs, and it's evolved over time, but the first version of that song is god awful. It's probably on SoundCloud somewhere, I think.
Cool.
Yeah, it's awful.
Wow.
But I just really started writing, and I write in spurts. I won't write and then I will. And I just got really inspired and just started kind of pumping stuff out. And I know a lot through COVID too. I had a lot of inspiration to write.
For sure. One thing that you did say that I just wanted to fucking rewind to for a second really quick was that you were the only woman. That was like there as like a band member. And wasn't always the case, but I mean the majority of the time, sure. But I also think it merits that, like, at least for me, I always try and like shake hands with as many spouses as I see, because like those are the people a lot of the times, depending upon the length of the relationship, they might be the reason that, big star that you're there to see is on that stage. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes to make people who they are. This is my first festival, so I have nothing to compare to. But my impression of this has been everybody here is equal.
This festival, I've seen more women than I have at any festival, and
That's awesome.
I'm excited. I think right when I started was when everyone else, Ava X started around the same time as me. I think we just said, enough is enough, and we need to really just push the boundaries with things.
You'll be free. You can wear whatever you want. No one's gonna hurt you for reading or tell you what to think or who to love or what to believe in. And you don't have to be a wife or a mother if you don't want it.
Then what would I be? Will God still love me then?
Yes.
And have you really thought about what a marriage is?
It's a blessing.
For the man, perhaps, but if it really were a blessing, truly a desirable state, would we need to dress it up, lace, silk, and frill? Litter the bride's path with rose petals? No, but we do.
Children for them. Oh, you are so lucky, so privileged.
Is a walk down the primrose path towards a woman's destruction. It's nothing less than the complete obliteration of a woman's personhood. It takes everything from her body, her independence, even her soul, and gives nothing in return. Nothing she'd want at any rate.
Blessed are the meek, 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 blessed are the meek.
And I think it's really exciting because I'm seeing some good music out there
for
and
sure.
bangers. So
Yeah.
I'm just so excited.
Oh man, Gabby's wonderful.
Yeah.
And one of the things that she said to me here at the festival that stuck out, and I'm putting her on fucking blast on this episode to like be like, she said this thing. I love gossip and shit, so here it comes. But she was like, I don't want to be Eric's wife's band.
Right, yeah.
And I was like, I don't want you to be Eric's wife's band. Eric's wonderful. I love Eric, but I don't want that. And he doesn't want that.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is the attitude to have of like, you know, not, oh, thanks, babe, I'm going to go out and do my thing now.
Yeah.
Like, but just like, I got to go work, babe. Hold my bag. I got to dance.
Yeah.
Hold my soda and my, don't spill that shit. Like that's who you and these women are sort of starting to become. And I like that. That's fun.
Yeah, I think it's time. Like I said, being the only woman, a lot of times I've been just, oh, who are you? You know, thinking, oh, it's just the wife of Waste or some groupie, you know, because there's so many groupies out there.
Right.
Or just...
I mean, I'm kind of the biggest groupie.
Yeah.
So don't out me too much.
I won't. You're allowed backstage. But, you know, I've gotten those types of comments of, oh, you're in the band, are you the singer, or, you know, I've gotten all those things. So it is very empowering to go, oh no, this is me and I'm here for me, and to have more of that presence. But I think it also takes a little bit of time because I'm so used to being in the back, like I said, that I have to really remember, oh no, I am here.
Yeah. Oh, right. I got to turn this knob now.
Yeah, exactly.
Push this button.
Yeah.
It was so effective. It was so good. And anyway, I'm so thrilled that you got to do it and that you got to bring that to everybody. And like, what was the I wanted to ask you the other day, like, after you'd had a second to sort of decompress from your own set.
Yeah.
I know we're talking about this kind of like days removed where you've had like fresher experiences with playing with other bands that are wonderful, but just sort of going back to your set for a second, like afterward, like, and since you have done it, has anybody come up to you and said like, hey, that was great, or anything that like stuck out to you?
Yeah, honestly, I would have to say Shane telling me, because, you know, living together, two musicians living together, and your husband at that, who is amazing and makes music every single day, I think is... you know, there's definitely a dynamic there of like go away, or, you know, squabbling as one does.
Sure.
But I also seek his approval because he is so talented and so amazing at what he does that I mean,
I barely know him and I seek his approval.
Right? Yeah. So I think for me to, because he's seen the progression, I think for him to come to me and say, hey, I'm so proud of you, was just such a good moment for me. And of course, I came into this saying, if 5 people like my shit, I'm golden, you know? I don't need crowds and crowds. 5 people, I'm like, whoa, 5 people like my shit. It's awesome. Yeah. So I think everybody else that came up after that was just the cherry on the top. You know, I did have quite a few people come and say, oh my God, that was amazing. And I think that just made me want to go home and write more.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's good to know that people get my dark humor.
Yeah. I think you hit on something important there, though, when you said that it was like, oh, cool, I have 5 people. I mean, that's how this whole festival has seemed. Like, a lot of these openers, like, are all like, there kind of weren't a lot of people out there. And then they get off the stage and they're like, you know, it takes 1 or 2 people to go like, that was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, to sort of break that, like, oh, I guess it was. But, like, I don't know, that feedback's important. And I feel like artists don't necessarily get it the way they need to all the time.
Yeah.
Because people are too scared to be like, you know, your set was fucking great.
Oh, I'm too afraid to talk to half the people. I've been staring at Klaus. You know, just, oh my God. It's, you know, he's the nicest guy in the world. I talked to him last night, but, you know, when you see magic, you don't want to bother it.
Not quite my tempo. It's all good. No worries. Here we go. Not quite my tempo. Fucking tempo! The tempo? Fucking tempo! The tempo? The tempo? Not quite my tempo.
Don't touch it.
Exactly. It was like I've had that. I had that moment like a couple of times in my career, and even just since being here, of like, you know, oh my god, I gotta go. You know, I'm gonna go do this thing. I need a drink, and then I go upstairs, and it's like I walk in, and it's all like, oh, Johan Van Roy's chilling in this room. No big deal.
Yeah, right. I know.
And I'm like,
Well, I stared at him last night too.
I walked in.
Awkwardly.
I you know me, I just fucking run my mouth. But I walked in and I was like, just get a water. And I was like, go do my thing. And I was like trying to ignore him. And then I'm like, oh my god, I'm sorry, I can't. I just have to like. And I like gushed. But yeah, I've been doing that to everybody I run into. But yeah, people are scared. People don't want to go up and fucking say, hey, blah blah blah, whatever. This is a perfect segue. Talking about earlier today. On Twitter, and I want to hear your thoughts.
Okay.
So the discussion was VIP packages. And people are bringing attention to the fact that in the interest of fans, VIP packages, a barrier of like, you got to pay to talk to me kind of a thing. Nobody wants that shit.
Yeah.
Of course, they don't. But I also think that, like, using Daniel Graves as an example, who's like, you can buy a VIP package and you get these things.
Yeah.
We meet at this time. It's scheduled. You get to go home with a bag. We get to have a meet and greet at a time when I'm prepared, because having a meet and greet, like, I know artists, I know fans. This is a two-way thing.
Yeah.
Like, the people you're shaking hands with have to prepare. Like, have to be prepared to be like, oh my God, I'm going to shake hands with people and they're going to cry.
Mentally, yeah.
Yeah, they're going to cry, and then I have to not cry. I have to be the strong one because, that's the reality of it. So I think that a VIP package has the opportunity to remove that.
Yeah.
You don't have to be less than. You paid for your introduction, because it's like, oh, hey, I've got this thing. I paid. Here's my thing. Oh, here's your bag. Here's your, let's go meet. That's awesome. Like, for me as a fan, as somebody who was so afraid, you're like, it's an end. So you buy it once, right? You buy a VIP package. This is my argument for it. And I credit Daniel Graves for sort of like his thoughtful responses on it. Really sort of sold me on this, was that, like, I get it. I paid for one. I bought a VIP package for Pig. I had a press pass. I was getting into the venue. I didn't have to buy a ticket. I bought my ticket so I could get the VIP pass. And I was happy to go in and get it early from the venue. I got my bag. I pulled my little thing out. Raymond signed everything. It was wonderful. And I didn't have to worry about crying in front of a crowd of strangers. Like, that's something that you're paying for.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that has a lot of value, but I don't know. What are your thoughts? Tell me if Daniel Graves is shitty. Here's your hot take.
I definitely see the business side of it, but I also see, for instance, like last night, Klaus was walking around during Stabbing Westward. Johan was walking around. No one walks up to them, or so I feel I've seen this so many times where artists will just walk around and nobody talks to them. So there are opportunities, and it's probably because they're like me and they're just scared shitless and they're gonna shit their pants, like, I can't talk to this person, But when artists are walking around, it's because they do want to enjoy the company of others. So I feel like there's missed opportunities there, but someone's got to break the ice, right?
Yeah.
And nobody's willing to do that because no one wants to be the asshole.
Right.
So I can understand how a VIP package would work, but what kind of acts would someone pay for VIP? I think there's certain acts that I would definitely do it, and then others where I'd go, fucking ESA, I know that guy, I'm not gonna pay you.
No, exactly.
I mean?
And I think there's something to be said for, like, I bought it once. I'd never met Raymond. So I bought the VIP package, and I was there to cover the show for Regen, but Raymond doesn't know me. I've never interviewed him. But that was my in, was like, I bought a VIP package, and I'm standing in line for merch, and turn around, and my wife, who was also probably going to be too shy, was like, he'd already introduced himself because she's up there with the VIP lanyard on. And, like, this thing gives power. So when you're talking to fans out there, if you're an artist and you're wearing a lanyard, there is a division. People are not going to engage you. And if you engage them because you're wearing this, you have the power in that situation. Because my first day at the festival, I did not have this on. And I walked around talking to people and talking to artists. And the difference has been significant between
I could see that.
The next day. I was like, give me one of these. I want to see.
Give me the power.
Yeah, I was
Girl,
like,
He-Man, I have the
for
power.
real. I was like, as soon as Ali was like, oh, it's okay, this guy's here, I was like, cool.
It's permission.
Yeah, it is permission.
Yeah.
It's permission. So now at this stage, I've had this for days. I can walk up and talk to anybody, but I also know exactly what it's like to be the person who doesn't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
there are people who are like, oh, I'm so excited to see Clint Carney. They're feet away from him. Oh, I want to meet him so bad. And I'm like...
He's right there.
I know. And I'm like,
and
I know him.
He's the nicest guy.
And I'm always in this situation of like, well, I'll embarrass myself. I'll do it for everybody. Like, I want to be the, like... Get your photo. Yeah. He's right there. Like, make it happen. But I don't know. As far as like, so when you say like what type of artists, I don't know. Do you think that it takes a sort of an amount of, I guess so.
What are they going to bring to the table? I think I definitely understand Daniel because someone like him, you know, he's a working artist. He's got to eat, and there's reasons why he builds that package. Yeah. Because he's not just feeding himself; he's feeding an entire crew when he's touring. So I think if you bring something to the table that's fun and inventive and engaging, people are going to want to participate. They're going to be drawn to it. Other than, hey, I'm here sitting.
It's value, right? It's like. It depends on what you're getting out of it. Yeah. But I think there is something to be said for you look online and so is charging, I don't know, what's the average VIP package price? $50?
No idea.
I assume. Maybe I paid more once. I bought an A-Mar and Marth one, right? Like, because I was going to San Francisco, getting out of town. It was like, buy the VIP package, you get a photo with the band, they sign an art print. Like, that hangs on my wall in my home. Like, I got cool stuff from the band I love in exchange for my money. Yeah. And I got to meet them, and they were cool. I have this memory. The memory isn't listed online. It's not included in that price when you look at it. Yeah. So I think it's easy to say, well, that's shitty. You're gating yourself off from your fans. And it's like... that person is also just willing to come out and hang out. You just have to talk to them, and not everybody's willing to do that, and we should...
It's a delicate dance.
I think ultimately, we should be okay with it. Like, it's... If somebody's like, oh, $50 and you shake my hand and we get a picture...
Yeah, that's a
no. Bro. Yeah. I'm gonna go on... I'll go on... If no one else will, I'll go on it. Yeah, if nobody else will fucking say anything, I will. I'll go on social media and I'll take you to fucking task over it. But in the case of, like... oh, they get this special shirt or they get this special thing and we get to have a moment.
Well, I really enjoyed what Ali did with the panel. I think that's really smart. Yes. I think, honestly, I think that's the way to go. Because I think it also takes away some of the tension of meeting someone and not knowing how to break the ice other than a word vomit, which is what I've done. I remember a couple of years ago I saw Stabbing Westward and I did a meet and greet and I was just like, oh my God, I love you. You know, just vomit and he's just looking at me like, I don't know what to do with you. You know, are you drunk? And I'm like, no, I'm just a mess, you know. So it's just, you know, it takes away some of that awkwardness that, you know, people like me have. And it's just, you know,
Can we plug my thing in? My battery's going to die. I apologize. But no, it takes it away because then you don't have to fucking worry about it. Because I too, like, I've not, there's only been a couple of artists in my whole career where I've been like, oh, I'm you know, I'm choking up, I'm nervous, I can't, like, whatever. It's okay, let me double check and see how long we've been recording. We are at 30 minutes. The battery's gonna die. We will call it here. That is okay. We both have things we have to scurry off to, but I don't know, at least to me, like, I would call somebody out if it was shitty, but if it was like, you get a bag and you get a this and you get a that, like, okay, cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It depends on who it is, and it depends on what you're bringing to the table. It's got to be worth it. I personally...
If you enjoyed this episode of Void Signal, you can visit voidsignal.net to make a small donation to the podcast. Even just $1 here and there helps. You can also find merchandise, stop by, buy a shirt, and help support the podcast. Otherwise, you can click all the social media buttons. Those help too, and I appreciate it. Thanks so much, and take care.